Well, I simply can't believe it. Another seemingly big banger from Paradox. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to our first look at Life by You, a potential Sims killer, perhaps? Well, I'm really blown away by Paradox's event earlier this month in March of 2023 as they revealed a lot of new games, including this, Life by You, but also City Skylines 2, which got me excited for city building, although after watching the Paradox event on March 20th, 2023, finding out a little bit more about Life by You makes it seem like this game is certainly a life simulator that has a lot to do with The Sims as well. However, some of the options in this game make it seem to possibly be more of a city builder than I ever could have thought. What I've always wanted to do in The Sims, and some things that, of course, you can already do, is do things like, for example, owning your own business, like a restaurant or perhaps like a shop or a bakery or something like that. And this game gives tons of options for modifications, mods, and modders to be able to be added to the game almost nonstop. Now, Paradox with City Skylines had a lot of this. Tons of things about that game, from the Move It mod to vehicles and buildings and assets that could be put in and downloaded. And this game comes chock full of that, with lots and lots of already packed in game modifiers that allow you to do things like write your own dialogue, create much more diverse characters, and also the buildings that you can literally pull from a blueprint and then plop right down in the middle of the lots. And so very much like how it was in The Sims, you can build your own home, of course, but this allows you to create tons of homes and copy and paste them all over the map. And so you could create perhaps a small cafe on the corner of an old park right next to your home, and then of course live next to your job and then commute there by walking. But this game also features car driving and biking and skateboarding, and as they mentioned, it's fully open world, and also you can control your own characters too. So for example, you can literally tell your character to jump into a car, and then you can drive the car as well. Now, of course, The Sims for the longest time, I think, has had a stranglehold on this industry, and EA also has taken a lot of fond memories and elements of The Sims hostage behind DLC. And, of course, Paradox is known to do a lot of that, too, with DLC as well, although it always seems to be an addition rather than something that you should have gotten in the original game. And with this game being upfront with all of the modability, it's really promising to what you can do with all the different characters, and possibly being able to download an almost endless slew of content from other people who may have built houses. And that's a big fun thing about The Sims, is doing all these different challenges and building all sorts of different homes and shells and businesses that people can download and own and operate or customize themselves. And so for anybody and everybody to be able to make a character or an office building or a restaurant or, a house with a big old garage or a small shack, and be able to share it and go, rags to riches type story, or just to build something that is true to life, like your very own home, this is really promising. Things like a color wheel, things like being able to plant trees wherever you want, and really make it seem like a world that you can modify, like a city that you can build, like a city builder. Now, I think this qualifies more as a life sim, but of all the games that I've ever wanted, this kind of game is what I want. Recently on the channel, we've been playing a ton of a game called Big Ambitions, which allows you, again, to own and operate your own home and drive through a city. But that game really made me want to be able to buy my own home and customize it, to which, of course, you can paint walls in that game and do the interior, but not on this scale. So today I wanted to show you the trailer for Life by You, and also an event from the Paradox folks who've covered this game, dropping a lot of information about all the things that you can create and do, and that is coming out soon. Make sure you use code Raptoria at checkout, by the way, if you add this one to your wish list, and get it on Steam sometime later this year. Early access September 12th, 2023. Let's watch the trailer and jump in to the stream.
Hi everyone, I'm Rocio, Community Manager at Paradox Tectonic. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the Life by You announcement show. First off, be sure to drop all of your questions in the chat throughout the show. We will be collecting them and hope to answer them in the coming weeks and months. Where can you find those answers? On our social channels, at lifebyu_PDX, and we hope to see you there. For our show today, we have some team members who are here to show you different gameplay features, a brand new trailer to show you some more of Life by You, and finally, which you might be very excited about, how you might be able to play Life by You. So be sure to watch until the very end. You might have been asking yourself, who is Paradox Tectonic? Paradox Tectonic is an experienced game development studio comprised of game industry veterans, life sim players, and gamers from all diverse backgrounds. We have been hard at work on Life by You, a game you might have heard about if you're here. Before we get to talking more about gameplay, let me introduce you to the GM of our studio, Rod Humble. Rod?
Thank you so much, Rocio. Life by You is a game that emphasizes freedom. It's a life simulator where you get to create your world, your way, and we're going to talk about all of the features in a lot of depth coming up, but first, why don't we just show you the trailer?
Yeah, let's roll the trailer. Wow.
That was a lot of fun.
That was so much fun.
We, the dev team, we all made that trailer together. So we played the game and we captured footage and we put it together. Life by You, as I hope you will have seen, is one of the most moddable and open life sims.
Yeah, and I think that's actually one of the things the community has been asking about the most is how open is this game? Rod, I think you're one of the best people to speak to that. Would you mind telling the community a bit more?
When we started making Life by You, open world was the center of our game design. And that's because life doesn't have any loading screens, and we didn't want any loading screens either. So we wanted you to be able to move around your world and change how you play anytime you wish. So for example, if you've made a household and one person's at home, maybe cooking, one person's at work, one person's down the beach socializing, you can swap between them anytime. You just click on their portrait and the camera will pan. There's no loading screens between buildings, between the world, or at all. You just move it around. In addition, when you do select somebody, if there's any non-player characters around, you can take them over if you want. If you decide I want to play their life for a while or permanently, you can take them over, all of their memories, their relationships, their loves, their hates, their possessions, all of it is stored and they're playing by the same rules you are. Finally, there's not much point in having an open world unless you can really enjoy it and explore it. And so we've got a whole bunch of transportation options that I love cars, I love skateboards. We've got those in the game. We've also got motorbikes. You can jog, you can bicycle, go anywhere that you want within the open world. In addition to that, you can click to move, so you can click anywhere you like in the world, and then your agent will drive there or walk there or jog there, or you can activate direct control mode. You can personally drive by pushing forward either on the arrow key, or if you want to plug in a controller, you can accelerate and deaccelerate. It's a lot of fun driving in our world. You can also walk using direct control like you would with like an action RPG. It's an over-the-shoulder camera. That feeling of freedom really helps explore the open world and enjoy all of the variety that you find within it. So when you see anywhere within the open world, like top of a mountain, the woods, the beach, you can just go there and you decide how you want to get there. You take your transportation of your choice. And of course, it being an open world, we want lots of things to do. And so we've added spawnables and collectibles. We've got a whole editor that enables you to add your own, but by default, when you load up the game, you'll see that we've got seashells, archaeology, a whole bunch of spawnables out there for you to discover and collect. So that's what we mean by open world. It really is all-encompassing, and all of the game systems use open world. None of it uses rabbit holes. It's all running all the time, and it's not only open spatially, it's also open in terms of time. You can time skip forward a decade if you want at the click of a button. So that's what we mean by open world. It's open in terms of space, in terms of gameplay, in terms of game system, and in terms of time. And we really hope that you're going to like it.
Thank you so much, Rod. That was really, for me, informative as well. I think one of my favorite things is that you can control anyone at any time.
Thank you, Rocio. Yeah, it reinforces the sense of freedom that we wanted to give players.
Yeah, absolutely.
There should be no barriers and no friction between the kind of game that you want to play and the kind of world that you want to create.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of creating, we have a lot of builders who are watching right now. And I think you'll be excited to see our next segment. We have our senior game designer, Hannah, who's actually going to walk through some of our build tools.
That's so exciting.
All right, let's see.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a senior game designer working on Life by You. And now I'm here to talk about the lot and region editor tools. The lot editor tool allows players to create and edit pre-existing lots. This means any lot from the beach to the public buildings, to the homes, to the businesses that we provide you are editable, or you can create your own versions of all of these. The region editor tool allows you to move around all the lots in the game. So if you have a few you like and want to clump them together in a little neighborhood, that is fair game. If you're just tired of driving to work and don't want to anymore, you can move your office right next door. All the lots in our game were created using these lot editor tools, and I used the region editor to create the two neighborhoods that you'll see in game. And I'm most excited to see what players are going to do with the things that we give them as building blocks. And I'm especially excited to see what players will build from the ground up and make their own.
Thank you so much for that, Hannah. And I really love that she went into how the world really becomes your oyster here.
Yeah, I love our build tool. It's so much fun making all of your little houses. And of course, you can place them wherever you like in the world. You can make businesses as well as homes. And also our world tool enables you to add people. And people talk. And we have full real language conversation in our game, which is pretty exciting.
And you can tell your own story. And let's hear about how you can tell your own story from senior game designer Gabriel. Throwing it to you, Gabriel.
Hey, I'm Gabriel, and I'm a senior game designer for Life by You. Throughout development, a lot of my focus has been on designing the gameplay for the conversation system. It's been a lot of fun to work with the team to create something that we feel is not only innovative, but fresh to the genre. So in Life by You, you can talk to anyone and anyone can talk to you. Conversations is one of the ways in which you can build relationships with the characters in your world. But what's really interesting about this feature is that all the conversations are being generated based off of your unique situation. So who you're talking to, where you're talking to them, and the type of relationship you have with that person, these are all getting factored into how that conversation unfolds. What this does is it creates a gameplay system that is emergent in storytelling and allows for no two conversations to ever be alike. There are countless choices and thousands of unique lines of written dialogue, so you really get to choose how you respond in any of these situations. Almost every choice will affect the relationship in some way. So whether you want to be flirty or friendly or antagonistic, you really have the ability to steer the conversation in the direction that you want to take it, as well as the relationship. One of my favorite things to do is to eavesdrop on the humans in the world. I've been working on this game for a while now, and I'm constantly surprised at the conversations that are happening uniquely in the world. I think this is going to open up a lot of opportunities for creative play and emergent storytelling. We really want you to be able to tell your own stories through this system, and we are just scratching the surface of what is possible. I can't wait to share more with you in the near future.
Thank you so much for that, Gabriel. That was really fun to watch, too.
I know. I love our conversation system, and I love the way it hooks into social relationships, how it really impacts gameplay.
Yeah.
So you can annoy people, you can develop friendships with them. But of course, because it's Life by You, we didn't want to stop with just our conversations.
not at
We
all.
went a step further.
Yeah, we want to see you modders. And there's actually a whole conversation creator, which let's throw it back to Gabriel for this because he's our resident expert on this. Back to you, Gabriel.
Hey, Gabriel here again, Senior Designer for Life by You. I was given the opportunity to help design the workflow for creating conversations using the Conversation Creator. We knew from the very beginning we wanted to create a real language conversation system, but it was an extremely ambitious idea. So we needed a tool that would allow us to create a lot of choices and dialogue quickly. But not just that, we wanted to be able to share that tool with the player. With the Conversation Creator, you can create your own dialogue and tell your own stories. The same tools that we're using to design the gameplay for conversations, we're making available to you, the player. You can edit existing lines of dialogue or create entirely new ones. For those of you who like to write and make a lot of dialogue options, we have a tool that allows you to bulk edit and import your content. And the best part is you get to share this with the community so people can play your stories. The dream has always been to collaborate with the player and to be inspired by what they make. The Conversation Creator is a powerful tool that's going to allow you to tell your own stories and share that with the community. I am beyond excited to see what the community creates and where they take this content.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. I love feeling inspired by our own tools.
Me too, me too. I love our conversation tools. I love the fact that you can batch import, and I really love the drag and drop and the branching editor, so you can visually see it as you're crafting
what you're
a
doing.
conversation.
Exactly.
And then you can share them with your friends.
Yeah.
Because we're the most moddable life sim.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't just stop at conversations, which is one thing I appreciate. You can actually edit objects in our game. And let's actually throw it to Hannah again. She's going to talk us through our object editor. Back to you, Hannah.
Hey, it's Hannah again, and now let's talk about the object editor tool. You can add, change, or attach functionality to any of the objects in game with this tool. If you want to go deep with it, you can create your own scripts with the script editor and add those onto objects. If you just want to mess around and break the rules a little bit, you can do so. An example of this would be if you want to use a flower bush as a toilet. You can just move those toilet interactions onto that flower bush using this editor, and then you've got a flower bush toilet. We use these editors to create everything in the base game, and we wanted to make all the tools available to us as designers available to you as players. We'll be showing off more creator tools in the coming months, including a model editor that will allow you to change the look and feel of some of these objects.
Thank you so much for that, Hannah. The flower bush toilet gets me every time.
It's pretty funny, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that members of our community will come up with even more amusing
Absolutely.
gameplay modifiers. What's great about it is every 3D object that you see, you can entirely modify.
Yep.
You can use our visual scripting language, and you can add your own gameplay. In fact, we are shipping with the game all of the tools built into the game that we use
Yeah.
on the dev team to make the game, including the quest editor, we've got the skill editor.
Okay.
We got a lot.
Don't worry, we're gonna show you a bunch of these editors in the future. We've really only scratched the surface. We hope to give you all of the tools to basically run free, and be as creative as you need to be.
Yeah, we just want to give you the keys to your creative world and to express yourself with the freedom however you like.
Yeah, and definitely stay tuned for more information about all of this. We're looking out for our mod community, and we're so excited to share more. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. How can you get Life by You?
Life by You is available for pre-order now on the Epic Game Store. If you pre-order, you gain our Life Begins pack, which includes a vintage scooter that you can customize any way you like, a fashion pack, a decor pack. You get the full version of the game when it's released, and you gain early access later this year.
Early access. Why early access? Here to talk more about this is Amanda, COO of Paradox Tectonic. Can you tell us a little bit more?
We've been working on this game for a really long time. The core mechanics are there, and we have some really fun and innovative features, as you've just heard. Life simulation fans have been waiting for a game like this for a really long time, and you won't have to wait much longer. We want to get the game in the community's hands as quickly as possible to start iterating on their feedback and to prioritize the content and features that matter most to you.
And as a community manager, I'm personally so excited to hear the community feedback and see what creations they make. There's just so many possibilities.
Yeah, life is a really big topic, and it's really only limited by your imagination.
Yep.
There's so much to explore, and there's so many perspectives to life. We realized early on that this was too big of a topic for any game team to ever fully explore on their own. So we knew we had to empower and foster a community of modders and creators to really expand this game. This is a really huge game, and we can't wait to see what you make with the tools that we provide and what you think of the tools.
It's fantastic to hear the why, but now we should get to the what. What can players expect during early access?
Yeah, we want to be really transparent here. Many of the core mechanics are in place, and there's already a ton of fun gameplay and content. You can already live many of the key moments in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And just leading up to this, what is the team working on?
Yeah, well, over the next several months, we'll be continuing to add content based on your feedback, and we'll continue to add depth to critical systems such as, for example, the conversation system and many others. And we will continue to polish the visuals, and we'll be fixing bugs.
Yep, and like you said, read feedback. As a team, we really care about that.
Yeah, we know that it's really important to give ourselves the flexibility and the time to act on that feedback and integrate it into the game. Early access games are not complete, and they will grow and evolve over time, and we're looking forward to releasing a really solid full release.
Yeah, we're so lucky to be able to lean on our community during our early access, and we're excited to share a bit extra with those who join us on the early access program. As a reminder, if you pre-order now, you receive the bonus Life Begins pack on the Epic Games Store. Plus, our first 100,000 early access players will be invited to our private Discord server, where they can bring us feedback directly, get behind-the-scenes looks, and more. So make sure to pre-order now. Thank you so much for watching. Keep an eye out on all of our social channels for more information. That's at lifebyu_PDX. And we hope to see you all again soon.
Well, finally, a full, in-depth look at Life by You. I shouldn't say full. It certainly gives me a lot more answers than questions than with most trailers, and of course, with all things being captured in in-game build, it certainly is a better showcase than most of what we might have for a game coming soon to, again, Steam and Epic. But I've got to say, with games like Paralives coming soon, this, Farm Folks, and many other games that simulate life and customization of the homestead and building, and of course, customizing spaces within the home, this is really promising. And I've got to say, Paradox is making some real bangers this year, at least in terms of announcements. With City Skylines 2 confirmed, we all knew it was coming, but finally being able to get hyped about that and to be able to actually see some really in-depth gameplay of this, it's got me excited for what could possibly be. I don't know if this would be possible, but long ago with SimCity 4 and the original Sims, it was possible to bring your Sims to the city in which you were building in SimCity, and I'd love to see some sort of a crossplay of our characters from this game in Life by You in City Skylines 2. I think that'd be amazing. But all the customization options, the lighting, all the things here seem well beyond what I would expect from an early access game. But of course, I'm waiting to see the limitations. Will it be multiplayer in the future? Of course, for now it's listed that it's single player, but games like Parkitect, for example, were listed to also be single player and eventually got multiplayer updates. And it's going to be very interesting to see what the modding community does and what possible DLCs will be in the future in terms of new locations and many different assets. It actually really seems like kind of a starter city in City Skylines. If you've ever started with some of the middle or mid-tier or medium density homes, a lot of this looks like suburbia of an early City Skylines build. But I want to see more locations and more building types. I want to see Asia, and I want to see like American and British and different types of base building assets that will then allow us to be able to build whatever we want. But of course, it is very difficult to make a game like this, especially since there's pretty much an endless amount of things that can be added. And with the developers at least saying, hey, yeah, we know that's, pretty impossible for us to do ourselves, and wide opening the door to things like creating your own worlds and being able to share those and modify those on pretty much every level is ambitious. And that's something I want to see more of in these games. So that way, DLCs feel like they're more like adding to the experience than they are hostage situations. Some games that do that very well, for example, are the American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator games on Steam. And say what you want about maybe a driving simulator, it certainly adds tons of stuff for modders to be able to add to in their own maps and their own worlds and things that you can download for free. But of course, you have to pay for the DLC. And so for a game like this, it's really promising to see pretty well put together characters, worlds, furniture, lighting, nature, and very beautiful vistas by the beach to be able to possibly live by. It really reminds me of a lot of games that you would always hear about, and they would just never really live up to the hype. But hopefully, this year, we get a lot of great new games announced and a lot of great games delivered by the end of the year and or the next. Very excited to see what will be coming for The Sims. Very excited to see what will be coming for Paralives and more of this, Life by You. Let me know what you think about this game down below in the comments section. Do you think this is a Sims killer? Do you think there are things here that are going to be definitely included in The Sims 5 and that this game possibly is behind the times already? Or if this is introducing things that you've never seen before or that you want to see in other games? I certainly would like to see more of this in City Builders, where we can also build inside the buildings in which we're constructing. And so although this isn't necessarily a traditional city builder like City Skylines or SimCity, the fact that we can take buildings like small hardware stores and gardening sheds and whatnot and plop them across the map as well as office buildings makes it a game that I would love to play.